This week, we discussed Chall's stages of reading. Total, there are 5 stages, and I decided to cover stage 2, which is the confirmation and fluency stage. During stage 2, children will be 7 to 8 years old or in 2nd to 3rd grade. In this stage, children will read simple familiar stories and selections with increased fluency. This is done by consolidating the basic decoding elements, sight vocabulary, and meaning context in the reading of familiar stories and selections. Basically, it's in this stage that students will confirm phonics learned in stage 1 and will focus on decoding words with fluency. Just as a refresher of what fluency is a combination of speed, accuracy, and prosody. Speed is the words per minute a student can read. Accuracy takes into account the rate of mistakes or his or she ability to decode unfamiliar words. And prosody is going to deal with intonation or word expression. And no matter what aspect of fluency you're trying to improve, fluency is going to take practice. Practice makes perfect. The skills acquired in stage 2 will occur through direct instruction in advanced decoding skills, wide reading of familiar and interesting materials that help promote fluent reading, and by being read to levels that are above their reading level. Here are some tips for teachers that I found that are useful in this stage. You can start with relatively short text with words that students can successfully decode. You can include variety in the forms of literature, so use stories, nonfiction, poetry, any kind of form of literature you can get your hands on. Include variety in the format of oral reading, so don't just read out loud to your kids. Let them do tape-assisted reading, choral reading, partner reading. And when you do guided reading longs, it's useful, like I said, to do a level above their reading level, and that way they can extend their skills even further. Teach vocabulary directly and indirectly, and you want to discuss literature after you complete it to make sure that they understood it and they're able to build those skills as well. So here is the end result. By the end of this stage, the students will have about 3,000 words that they can read and understand, and about 9,000 that are known to them. And by the end of it, listening is still more effective than reading. So they haven't reached that complete reading comprehension stage, but they are improving their skills. Also, by the end of this stage, the students will be transitioning out of the learning to read phase and into the reading to learn phase. This is a switch to the development of reading comprehension and vocabulary development. So something interesting that I discovered when I was researching this stage is what is known as the 3rd grade wall. The 3rd grade wall is a milestone that struggling readers and those with dyslexia who have not developed the skills in stages 0 or 1 have difficulty reaching. 3rd grade is when the reading ability gap starts to open and can continue to grow. So because of this wall, those who do not read proficiently by the end of 3rd grade are 4 times more likely to drop out, and struggling readers are about 1/3 of students and 3/5 of dropouts. So it's important as teachers that we are observant of our students, that they're not faking what they know, that they're not memorizing these stories, and they actually do have an understanding and an ability to decode these words. So I have listed a couple of the Teex implications. These are both for 2nd and 3rd grade students, which fit into the stage 2. It's things like using context to determine meaning, using appropriate fluency like we discussed. They are now reading independently. They are deepening their comprehension of complex text, increasing the vocabulary, and they're also exploring multiple genres to deepen text evidence and describe things like character and plot and setting. So just to summarize this stage 2 is when students will confirm phonics learned in stage 1, and they'll focus on decoding words with fluency. It's also during this stage that students transition from learning to read to reading to learn. This can primarily be done through direct instruction, guided and repeated reading, and through plenty of practice.